Hello, in this video I'm gonna show you how to how to simplify a complex fraction. In this case here, I'll tell you one thing to remember is when we say we divide something by itself, let's say for example 5 by 5, the answer will be 1, okay? And when we multiply 1 by anything, let's say by 4, the answer will be the same thing. So when we multiply by 1, we don't do nothing and it doesn't change anything. And when we say we multiply and divide by the same thing, that means we're multiplying by 1. That means we're not doing much changes to the value. So we're not changing the value of the problem we have, of the expression we have. We're just changing the form, the way it looks, but not the value, okay? So keep that in mind, because to solve something like this, I'm gonna have to multiply and divide by the LCD, which will make it 1, okay? And once I multiply 1 by this entire thing here, it will stay the same. So that means I'm basically multiplying by 1 and I'm not changing anything, okay? Just changing the form but not the value. Okay, with that being said, let's go ahead and solve this. Okay, one thing to keep in mind, guys, is that whenever you have a complex fraction like this, you just need to try to get rid of the denominators as much as you can, okay? So in this case here, I can say I'm gonna try to get rid of these denominators. By the way, before you start, you can see here, right here you have x minus 1, and this is 1 minus x. So if you factor out a -1 here, you may make it look just like what you have here, okay? Because it's the opposite of this. Now, you can do that only if it's the opposite. If it's not the opposite, I would have had to consider everything in the LCD. So the LCD would be x minus 1, 1 minus x, and x. Okay? So that would be the LCD. Again, if you don't know how to do that, refer to my other video. And I believe I explained that in one of my other videos. Okay? All right, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to change it. Factor out the negative sign. The -1. Okay, so let's go. I'm gonna keep everything the same, like the 3 the same way, x minus 1 the same way, 2 over x minus 1 the same way, 2 over x the same way, and I'll change this just to show you what I mean. I'll put a different color here. I'm gonna put factor out the -1, which would automatically change what's inside to x minus 1, okay? It was 1 minus x, now the x becomes positive, the 1 becomes negative, okay? After that, what you can do, you have to, let me rewrite things first. X minus 1, 2 over x minus 1, minus 2 over x. Now 1 over x minus 1. Now the negative sign you have here, remember you had another negative sign here, so these two, when you divide them or multiply them, anyhow you want to say it, they would become a positive sign. So you have now a positive sign here, okay? All right, should make sense to everybody. Now from here, get the LCD and multiply top and bottom by that. I'm saying this by the LCD, this by the LCD, and by that you're gonna have to distribute, okay? Because it's everything you have by the LCD. Okay, so one thing to do here is to get the LCD. Now, obviously, the LCD in this case will be x minus 1, because you have x minus 1 everywhere, times x, okay? This is the LCD. Now, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna multiply everything by that LCD, okay? So let's go here, up here. Let me put it like this here to show you where I'm going. Up here. Now I'm gonna multiply everything by the LCD. Okay, let me write what I have here first. And I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm doing here so you don't get confused. Plus 1 over, what was it, x minus 1 over 2 over x minus 1 minus 2 over x. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'll multiply everything by that LCD. So I'm gonna put the LCD here. X minus 1 times x times this. X minus 1 times x times this. X minus 1 times x times this. X minus 1 times x. Okay, that's how you do it, because remember, from here you would distribute, so the LCD would be, it would be this times this times this, this times this, this times this. Okay, so you would distribute. Okay, now let's go. We can eliminate like factors, right? So the 1 here, the x minus 1 here would be canceled out here. Therefore, you will have only 3 times x, which is 3x. This would be canceled out here as well. So 1 times x plus x, okay? So 3x plus x. On the bottom here, you'll have this canceled out as well. So it will be 2x. Plus, I mean, in this case here, it will be minus. So let's cancel the x. So it will be negative 2, and you distribute. So negative 2 times x, which is negative 2x. And negative 2 times negative 1, which is positive 2. Okay, positive 2. Okay, now, again, we keep going. And it becomes 3x plus x, that's 4x, over 2x minus 2x is 0, okay, plus 2, so this is just 2, and turns out that 4x divided by 2 is 2x. Okay, this is the answer, 2x. So you simplified this problem to 2x. It's a complex fraction. So the key here, guys, is to remember to get the LCD, and you multiply top and bottom by the LCD. Again, keeping in mind that when you multiply and divide by the same thing, it's canceled out to 1. And if you multiply anything by that number 1, it's called what we say the identity property. 1 times anything is the same thing, okay? So that's why what I did here is really nothing, not an update to the value. So the value is the same. It's just the form, the way it looks here. This is basically the same as just writing down 2x. This is the same thing, okay? So this is simplified. It came from a complex fraction to 2x, okay? Thank you.